Today is the 27th of December 2021, and I'm at the shores of Bittern Lake, Saskatchewan, and I'm waiting for a young fellow that's snowshoeing across the province from Saskatoon to Timber Bay in regards to the Timber Bay Children's Home and the Theballantyneproject Project. And one of our leaders are parked here, also one of the school staff, and there's actually other trails that he may be coming, so I don't know if he's going to come through here, but I'm going to go back towards that way and take another trail way in the back towards that way, so we'll know in a little while. So I'm at the end of Bittern Lake, probably the north end, and I'm looking around to see if anybody has come through this way, but not quite yet. And snowshoer Toni is out here somewhere, and right now Dean Henderson and Joe Nelson are out on skidoos. They're gonna see if they can meet up with him and maybe escort him through towards Timber Bay. So he just texted me and they said they haven't met him yet, so they're coming out of the bush across number 2 highway to Bittern Lake, Saskatchewan. So we'll provide updates as we go along and go live as when we find them.
Oh, this one goes right back. Oh yeah.
So, just a couple of questions, and what time did you start off about this morning?
Oh, it was a late morning.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had a Quincy built, so.
Oh,
I
okay.
just stayed huddled in there.
Must have been minus 30.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
Oh my golly! And how far are you going today? Until what time?
One of the shortest days.
Yeah.
Probably 18K, 20K.
Okay. All right. And so far, coming from Saskatoon, this is probably the coldest it's been so far.
Yeah, the Christmas night was minus 34 on my thermometer.
Well, okay.
That was a chilly one. Didn't have a
Okay.
Quincy, I just huddled up in my bag.
Okay. I guess I'll let you go warm up for a little bit.
Okay.
Have some coffee. He's trekking through Saskatoon to Timber Bay at Bittern Lake right now. This is the here.
Yeah. So you met everybody here? I'm Joe, Lionel, James, Jordy. Jordy's Lionel's son. This is Frank. I'm Dean. This is Conrad. These fellas, most of these fellas, spent many years in Timber Bay. You know, I have a lot of family that spent years there as well. Most of my family. Gloria, Rachel, all my aunties.
My mom.
Oh yeah, mom, yeah.
She must have been there before I was there. She was, since she was 5. Yeah, it was the same thing with me. 5 till I was 15. She should be 60, should be 70. In the month,
You didn't see any moose out there?
No moose.
No moose?
There was some weird rodent running on the ice out there.
That is an otter. We saw it. See it there.
Yeah.
Well,
you thought you were dinner.
the moose getters. They haven't been used for years.
I don't know much to do it.
Right? Cool.
got that. We'll wait for you over there. And then we'll guide you over to the community. How you like it? We'll put on a lot of miles. Get some skis on and they'll pull you in the skiddy.
Thanks again.
All right, man.
All right. Following it, then we'll go somewhere in the middle of the junction and guide you towards the east. Alright? You made it! Hey, see you again! No, you made it to Montreal Lake. That's Montreal Lake there. Your fastest lake on the road.
This is Carol, one of our band counselors.
Yes, nice to meet you.
I forgot how you say your name.
Yawling.
Bialing.
Thank you. Where can we put this stuff?
I just want to just come to you for today. Thank you for this wonderful day that you've given to us. Thank you for keeping this young man safe. Thank you for the blessings you have given him. We ask you to continue blessing him in his life. I know that what he does from his heart. So we thank you for bringing him to us. And Father, we just ask you to continue getting the message out, and that others will come to recognize that our horrible stories to be told in a residential school. We ask you just bless this food to our body's use. We ask this in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
We found you a pair of snowshoes, thanks to Lionel. I don't know if they'll meet your expectations, but hopefully, they'll get you from here to Timber Bay at least. So, on behalf of Montreal Lake, we'll give you these brand new snowshoes. Hopefully, they'll get you there.
Talvinaan tietenkin pyytsyvä poistoa ja sitoskoa on näppyä muhtit johto saaskattuunsko Timberby. Kitistä hoitunut. Minun ei pikittä meitsä vassa. No houske niinku. Muhtit. Just niin, mun on mistä uutsikiskin lihtan. Yleensä tämän tsuskousna johkoisesta eikskin lihtan kiive. Nyt muhtista maikua. Siinä lihtama. Niin aikuutti olla laitissa muutti hyvää. Kiisti nyt mä en ole enää itse mantuu. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
You're guaranteed third anyways, Danny. Or maybe fourth. That's how old your snowshoes are, eh?
I think so. That's amazing. Thank you for supporting us.
Douglas. Wat nog het koud zijn, kan je toch? Otherwise, I found out about this lake. Otherwise, I totally would have done it.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome, eh?
Maybe cooking up a plan to do something. Give me a call or an email. I'll get you some. Nice.
Yeah, I think they're going to take him to the...
Thank you for coming for what you've done for us. A lot of people that don't know what this journey you've done, they will now. And those who are survivors, if I can't be here, I thank you on behalf of it. Thank you, Lee. We'll remember those that couldn't be here with us, even though they are in spirit, I'm sure. The other survivors that will hear of this. I know the National Bishop and I have been talking about it, about providing a letter of support. And so I think we'll all work on that now as we journey. And thank you very much for those, and also being here with us, standing with us and walking with us. And we'll bow our heads in prayer and thanks, but also as a support to the many that are still struggling, and that it will bring healing to them. And this we ask through your Son, Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
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 Yeah. Everybody else wanted to be here, but they left me to run around. So I got Rose with me and the girls. So we got a meal ready for you at our school.
I'll get one more picture here. Tony. Ken, is it this one? Is that, or this one? Do you want this one?
No, I'll get this one. Thanks.
You are.
That's the food from the chief. It's a big honor we're here to honor this young man who traveled so far to gain recognition of where we are now. No tawin na Toni ipitsäga puistoja. Minun mittuna ja somja tavitsija. Mitsua. Tämä on mitsukki oli osa niin tuolla. Yritin poistaa tuosta niiva. Tuolla vähän viilotti musta kyllä. Ja minä mantuu. Että niin autti minä teki päät mennään. Mutta me muutti huoli. Tavitsija muutti huoli. Minäkin tuttiin nämä siis muutti huoli. Mä kiitse. Kun esiin sinut enää. Sinut muuttia. Joskus mä en usko enää. Mä pitää mantua siitä nyt näksääkin, minä kaikki.
I want to welcome this young man into our Treaty 6 territory, and I also want to acknowledge him for coming all the way here from Saskatoon on snowshoes. And I think you brought a lot of. I think you brought. You have taught us about persistence, and persistence is what we're going to be using, trying to get the Timber Bay residential students being recognized, and also determination. You have a lot of determination from coming in all the way from Saskatoon to come here, considering how cold it was and how freezing temperatures you had to face. That's determination, and we're very proud to be a very brave young man. And I want to thank you for coming here, making a difference in our communities. And I want to present you with a set of snowshoes. And these are the snowshoes.
Look at the snowshoes.
I want to present you with. Okay, Troy, I want to give you this. This is my band counselor, Troy. Troy will present them to you.
Hi, welcome everyone, and I'd like to thank, first off, the elder for the opening prayer. Thank you all for taking time out of your day to come out and show your support. And Beyonding is your name. I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your life, and especially during Christmas and when everyone's together. Families, you were out there showing your dedication to helping our First Nations 36 recognize Timber Bay. I'd like to thank you for that, and hope everyone has safe travels home. There's no shoes from my way.
Lastly, I want to acknowledge you. I want to acknowledge all the people that came here. Some people traveled from Saskatoon, some people traveled from Orange, and other places, as far as Family Mission. I want to acknowledge the two chiefs that are here, Chief Tammy and Chief Karen. This is the first time. This is the first time we've had more than three chiefs, and this is kind of, we made history. And so you're a very lucky man to witness this. Just kidding. And I also want to give these to you. I know my grandson is an Oiler fan. I know there's a lot of community here are Oiler fans, and people your age, like the Vice Chief, is here. The Vice Chief, Dean Henderson, is also an Oiler fan, and And this is these gloves were made. These mitts were made in Shamble Lake. Those ones, the ones that you have, those were made by the Nation in Fort Layard, Northwest Territories. So that's where it came from. This is otter, and this is moose hide, and this is the best team. Because in our eyes, you're the best young man who has a vision to do something to make a difference, and I thank you for that. I want to give Carol to present them to you. Carol, say something.
Good evening, everyone. I want to say, first of all, thank you for Elder Tom Roberts, I believe, for saying the opening prayer, and also for saying the prayer for Bjalling to make his trek today. Thank you all for coming out here, and thank you for the people who made the food today, preparing everything. Timber Bay residents who are preparing for the past couple of days for Bjalling's arrival. And I want to say thank you to Bjalling for your trek that you've made for these, I believe it's the 9th day, right? Yeah, 9th day. I didn't attend the residential school. I mean, I didn't attend Timber Bay School, but my mom attended. My mom attended for 7 years, so one of the things that we talked about yesterday is, intergenerational trauma. I didn't attend, but there's still trauma in me that, as if I was there, right? As if I attended this school. So that's one of the things that needs to be recognized among a lot of people, because, we're looking out to our communities right now. A lot of people, my generation, are lost, wondering who they are, their spirit, their culture. And it's just bringing things back, and you doing your walk is also recognizing that it's not only the people who went to the schools, it's, the next generation, it's the generations to come. So you're doing a really big job for a lot of people, opening the door to conversations, and I'm sure after this a lot of people will continue conversing on Timber Bay School and all the traumas that happened over there. And on behalf of our community, I want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Say of my appreciation to you. As Chief of Theballantyne Nation, we had a lot of our members, I stand here to represent the members that went to the Timber Bay residential school. And a lot of them, well, most of them couldn't be here. And, I represent them, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts for doing what you've done. And I hope, this work and the other continued work that the other chiefs have done will go far and making it recognized, our students to be recognized as a part of the residential school. So I thank you for doing the work, and I'm happy to meet you and to follow you on social media. God bless you.
I am a member of our local board, Laredo Valley, and I'd like to thank you also on behalf of our community and our people that, like to say, cannot be here. And we have a gift for you. It's a painting that's yours. And a beaded landline for you all. Yes, thanks a lot for choosing that.
5 minutes. I'm really honored to be here on behalf of the Lac-La-Ronge Indian Band and on behalf of my family and on behalf of the students, the survivors and the ones that didn't make it home and the ones that are no longer with us. It's a real honor to be here in Timber Bay na nashka mo kahit pi sitos kamagi igista no sa igisiga kami na auto skini is kapi mo ti de way so hide mo di mo siga pis ay de way yama de way gisnadi kami na nashka mo gaya Elder Tom Roberts Archbishop Adam gay nista my waho, thank you for your prayers ina nashka mo tnawa, and thank you Bialing for all your dedication and bringing us all together here. You know, you made the decision and the sacrifice to bring the Timber Bay Children's Home to the attention of not only the Timber Bay but to all of Saskatchewan. And for you being here and doing what you do, it's so important. And I first met the Bialing in La-Ronge this summer when he biked to all the residential schools. I asked him how many schools he's been to. This is his 22nd school, and it's not driving. He's either biking or on snowshoes, and you know he's done a lot of work to stay at Toscagono and to bring that attention. And you know it means a lot to the students, even the survivors that are here. It means a lot to have you here because it brings home what we have to continue to do is to continue to fight for the Timber Bay Children's Home to be added and to be recognized as a residential school, and that the students be recognized for the harms that they suffered and you know what they've gone through, and the ones that didn't make it home. I was at the funeral service when they had late Bobby Bird's service when they found him, and I was there with his family at that time, and that was really difficult to go to that and to be able to be there, but it was important too. So thank you for the work that you're doing, and thank you to the community of Timber Bay for cooking for us, welcoming us. You know, the meal is just really amazing, and you can tell that a lot of heart and a lot of hard work and a lot of love went into the meal. So thank you so much for putting everything together, and Chief Joyce in Montreal Lake, Timber Bay, the mayor and council here, the school, thank you very much for welcoming us here into the community and just bringing us all together. In 2007 was when we started, when we realized that Timber Bay wasn't part of the residential school agreement. And then from there's a lot of students that came to to the band office saying, can you speak for us? Can you make sure that Timber Bay is added? So right away we wrote a letter saying why, appealing to have Timber Bay added to the residential school agreement. And we wrote letters, we got denied. And then it was late Jake Tatusis, he was our lawyer at that time, a young lawyer from Canoe Lake. He was working for us, but he passed away suddenly. But he worked hard, he did a lot of research. And then from there, we kept on pushing the file. So the Lac-La-Ronge Indian Band, we had always had support from Peter Ballantyne and Montreal Lake and the Grand Council and the FSIM to keep pushing to have Timber Bay recognized. And we took it all the way to Supreme Court, but because of technicalities, that's why it's not added. And because the church that ran the school wasn't part of the signatory of the residential school agreement. And then also the school was located off reserve. But there's just the technicalities, and because Article 12 is where we're trying to get the school added. But now we have the Timber Bay Working Group, which is made up of all three nations and the Grand Council. So we're still pushing it, we're still adding it, and by you doing this during Christmas, and bringing us here all together, you can tell how much support you have. I know in Prince Albert we weren't there to meet you, and I want to thank you again for being there. You know, it just, but to know that you always had us with you. Even though we weren't there physically, we were always with you. And I'm just really honored to be here, to walk with you in the snowshoes, even the car we had to push out, you know, and then the little moccasins that you made are so special too. And thank you so much for honoring the students. I didn't go to school in Timber Bay, but my late sister did. And I'm so glad that I got to meet, I think it was Josie, I don't know if she's here anymore, but I didn't realize she shared a room with my late sister. My sister committed suicide in 2003, but she attended school here. And we also went to the Prince Albert Residential School together. And because of when she passed away, it was just before the cutoff, so her kids weren't able to get anything of the residential school settlement. But I still pushed for Timber Bay because I know there's still a lot of survivors, and a lot of survivors came to us and saying, can you keep fighting for Timber Bay, please, because we want to be recognized, we want to be compensated, and they share a lot of stories with us too. So now we've had Michael Swinwood, he was our legal counsel, so we have him engaged again. So Grand Chief Brian is helping us engage him again. So we'll continue to fight that, but I think we have to all come together. That's the only way we can have Timber Bay recognized, so students can be compensated, because we still have, like, it didn't close till 1994, and that's only 28 years, or 27 years, right? Yeah, so it's not too long ago. But thank you to Timber Bay again, and thank you for welcoming us here. I got you a pair of moccasins, but I don't know if they'll fit you. You might have to find a woman to make them. And I understand you're going to travel for a couple of days. So we want to present to you on behalf of the Lackawanna Indian Band. These were made by Rose from Grandmother's Bay. Rose Charles? Yeah, Rose Marjorie Charles? Yeah. She made these, and there's some orange there for Every Child Matters, and then there's 2 eagles for you that guide you, and hopefully they'll fit you. If not, you'll have them. But thank you so much for all your dedication, your hard work. You're an amazing young person with a big heart, and your parents must be very proud of you, and your parents must be very kind-hearted people to raise such a wonderful young man like you. So thank you so much.
Yali, that's how you pronounce your name. No, thank you very much for it was an honor walking with you in the last kilometer of your walk. Again, man, to Timitik, my friends, ako man Timit, my relatives, kaya na nas kuman, no? Mamoy will tell you, we'll thank our Creator for you. Kaya hindi na nagatawap mato kapit mo ti. Thank our Creator for keeping the young man, remarkable, courageous young man on his journey here to Timber Bay. Thank you very much. It was an honor. Thank you to our host, of course, Timber Bay, the community. Thank you very much. But on behalf of the Prince Albert Grand Council here today, I acknowledge everyone. Tom, a long time a residential school survivor from Prince Albert, and also Bishop Adam for your prayers in that tree. You know, where the building stood at one time, and where the children played in that yard at one time. You know what you've done. On behalf of the Prince Albert Grand Council, it's a big tribal council, one of the biggest tribal councils in the Prince Albert Grand Council. We thank you from the 12 chiefs, and these are the 12 chiefs from the Woodland Cree sector, and there's other 9 under the 3 sectors of the Prince Edward Land Council. We thank you. We thank you for your offer. We have a senator, one of our senators, Nolan, here this afternoon, and I thank you for being here. So it's been a lot of work, like the history of this place. But you know, when I was honored to be part of the council when we started the fight in 2007. You know, when we heard that it wasn't going to be recognized, and the survivors from this residence were not going to be compensated like the other residential schools. You know, and the work that was done here, I think it's from here. I think I can announce that you know, to the federal government, they reverse their decision, what they decided, and not, you know, I don't think it really had to go that route. And you know, as a province, of course, here with their decisions, and eventually going federal. And you know, I don't think, you know, it really had to go there. I think at this time, you know, it's you're going to take a work, and I think I can announce, you know, that it'll take a trip to Ottawa by the 3 chiefs, and we make that trip, and we meet with the minister and also the prime minister, and we simply ask him to reverse that and get the prime minister to recognize this place as a you know, a residential school, and the children, you know, that went through here, you know, had the hardship of leaving their families, leaving their culture, their language, and that's simply the work that we have to do. Us, and we have to go there and say that to the prime minister, and I think to the survivors that are here, I think we can do that. I really feel strong that we can do that. We will not give up, that for sure, for the survivors here. So thank you, young man, for your courageous bravery, for your walk, you know, cold in that cold weather. Kinanas Commitment, we thank you very much from the Prince Edward Land Council and everybody here. Kinanas Commitment.
Where the government had never recognized Timber Bay as one of those residences that did impacts in our communities right throughout. And I think that's something that we have to, you know, we have to all acknowledge that, you know, those of us that have spent times in these residences, I'd just like to acknowledge the Timber Bay residential people that are present amongst us. You know, the ones we went to school with, you know, like there was some families that were sent here because there was no alternative for them. Many of those come from up north. I think of the McCulloughs, I think of the Mahoneys. You know, like they were, these were people that had no place to go but to Timber Bay. And you know, you have to remember the residents and what it was like to come to school here. We have to leave our culture, leave our language. You could not speak Cree here. It was taboo. And that's something that really does affect you later on, because you lose your values from the home. You lose your language, your culture has been talked about. And then trying to replace that with something else that's totally foreign to you as a child. And that's something that I think, you know, the courts have noted, you know, during the many people that came up front and told their stories about losing a good part of themselves. And when they got home, their parents noted they were different in a lot of ways. They were no longer able to survive well in the bush because they had lost a good part of survival skill that their parents have been teaching them. And so there's a lot of things that have been lost in that process. And when we think about the Catholic Church especially, you know, when you think of all the side notes, right at the start, where the Catholic Church went to the government for more money so they can teach this Indian kid what they want them to teach, what they want them to know. And that is to forget that they were Indians and replace it with something else. Sometimes called cultural genocide. There's those aspects, those are the deadlier aspects of what we're talking about here. You know, even though that abuse, you can't rule that out as being bad, but I think cultural genocide is even worse because it attacks the person and their beliefs, what your parents, your grandparents believed. And I think I just want to hit on that a little bit because, you know, this young man is bringing those kinds of things forward. This is what you have to remember. This is what you are working against is the very facts of what these people have done. And most churches have tried to change people. And I was just kidding one person here that I know went here with us, and how the church, of course, you know, in evangelism, how they try to convert people. And how they try to change them. And I was kidding Jilly here. Well, one thing I can tell you, Jilly, is they never converted you. But I mean that's what it's all about. It was about trying to change us to their religion, and that, you know, when you look at this home, it was no different from any of those other institutions or churches. It was no different. And we got punished for speaking our language. They wanted us to forget our culture, the survival instincts. We've had, you know, we've got people that ran away from here. Some that we know of that did not make it. So, I mean, we've had similar experiences in this home, in this residence, as other residences. I've got a family member that has not recovered from that home. And still today, still suffering from being at that home. And so, I mean, you know, like my family, we started, what I can remember is 1961 is when my parents first dropped me off there. And the reason was because my dad was a trapper, and he had to go to the trap to make a living. So we come from a mix of those kinds of families, those of us that went there. So, you know, we all know each other, we remember each other, we're all family when we were here. And then we still remember several of the dorm parents, especially the ones that were a little bit meaner than others to us. We remember them. I remember the place where they fed us. You know, and I remember those days. This is part of that conversion process. We have to be saying a prayer when we first got up in the little cubicle that there's 4 beds in. We have to say a prayer there with the dorm parent. She would go to the next rooms down the hall, doing the same thing with all of us. We got to the dining room, we had to say another morning prayer there, so that's twice for that day. We got to school, we could say another prayer. Got back to lunch, did another prayer. It was prayer right throughout the whole day. Wednesdays was a special day for another prayer service. So we remember all those kinds of things that happened to each of us. And so, you know, this is something that has happened to us here at Timber Bay. Maybe different than other places, but we just want to let you know this is what happened to us here. And most of us later on in life, you know, we all fell into those life traps as well. Of course, alcoholism was part of our lives as well, a good part of our lives, in my case anyway. And but those are things that, you know, this home, I would have hoped helped us, but it didn't. So anyway, Toni, I'd like to thank you for listening to part of the story of Timber Bay residents, because you know, there were a lot of times where we felt as a family, because we played hockey together, we played sports together, and you know, we competed against Montreal Lake, we competed against Ballanosa, and then other schools after that too. So, you know, like the Timber Bay Children's Home, the survivors of us, we still think of ourselves as a family, because we know that we went through quite a bit there. So anyway, Toni, in Totoya, you come in a notin Nascobawa, skinny with the higher Capi Kasami, the Visaya Sumas, you know, there would be Tagayaki, always chill about Asaki the week, you know, that wind chill, that little bit of wind, west wind, most of the days coming here. Young man, you're a brave young man, so thank you very much. And I acknowledge you and all the leaderships and everybody that has made this event happen here today. Food preparation and everything. Deus que não tem nas coisas. Que vai nas coisas.
For racing, I think, so, you know, it's better to run all the time. and I was honored to be wearing them, and also forgot to mention that, you know, the bannock that you made there, that you had there, was made by Sylvia Henderson, 85 years old. And that's all finished, and she did a second and that's Bobby Cameron, the FSIN chief, who was on his way here, but kind of hit. Or did you say Mr. Ditch or Mr. Ditch? Mr. Ditch. You know, thank you.
That's a good talk. We followed this young man from Regina all the way to Sturgeon Landing, got a hold of him there. I'm on my way, and crossing the Hanson Lake Road was a long stretch, but one day he did 200 kilometers on the bike. Wow. And I said, did you see any bears along the way? I saw one. What did you do? He said, I yelled at it. And I said, my boy, don't yell at a bear. Talk to them nicely, they'll walk away. But this winter I told him, don't be afraid of the bears. I told him to go to sleep. Your hands are going to be very warm. I looked at your gloves. Your dad had the right idea, and he had the right gloves for you. And he cares a lot for you. He loves you, and you know. And that's one thing that we never got at the residential school. There's a few guys I see here that I went to residential school with. They were my brothers then. They're still my brothers today. And that's what we became our brothers, because we can't even talk to our brothers and sisters when we went to school. We were tired. And what you did is remarkable. You walked. You could have changed your date because it was too cold. I would have. But no, 17th December, I'm walking on the coolest time of the year. And I remember our first chief, James Roberts, he did a similar thing over 100 years ago. He walked from Little Hills west of La Ronge through Smooth Stone, Weaco, across Montreal Lake to come and sign treaty just north of here. So you did an incredible journey and brave. And not once did you say, what am I doing? I'm going home. You kept trekking. Once your determination is what this young man had. And we, as elders and the younger generation, we got to show them that determination. Never to give up and to carry on. Because if you give up, you'll never be able to make it. But if you carry on, yeah, there'll be some troubles along the way, but carry on, keep going, you'll make it, and it'll be the better for you. I saw your gloves over there someplace. So these are my personal gloves, and the stuff you did. These were given to me my granddaughter, my wife's, my sister-in-law's daughter, and that she wanted me to have these, but I want you to have them. And that's one thing as First Nations people do. When we leave each other, we give something to somebody that's on the journey. So these are for you. And this is the eagle that flies across northern Saskatchewan. You flew from Saskatoon to here. These are for you. I talked to him, I'm not sure where, just before he left Saskatoon. This is Tom, my friend, my buddy, my good luck charm. I thought, oh boy, he's asking for something. Does anybody have pemmican? I love pemmican. Not that I know, I'll go hunting. I went hunting. Deep in the bush. 3 feet of snow, I kept going. Then I saw Superstore. A friend of ours from Sutter River, Ida Rat, made pemmican. And this is for you. You wanted pemmican? I delivered.
What else is in the bag?
So I went hunting again. And I made a slave for you. When you go home, you carry it on there. Thank you so much. And you know what? You haven't heard the last of me. We're going to bring you back up here. And with a nod from one of the chiefs, yes, there you go. I want to make you an honorary member of the Woodland Cree Nation.
Tinigit Tom. Niganaya ga ayamihista magawya. When you stay, nasumao. Utawi no gabi midot ko kahigo ako with bigas mudaligi kasi we had a little incident this morning, so I thank Creator for bringing us here and bringing you here. We had thank you, Tom, for the prayers and to the leadership that's with us today on Treaty 6 territory. We had the honor of meeting Beyonding this summer while we were having our youth camp, and we worked it out when he was coming from Lynn Flan, and met him on the Wapawika Road and took him into our camp. And so thank you for that. And you had left something behind, so Olivine has brought it again. And so this is what you left behind, but also just a little gift from us, the Black Orange Indian Band Health Services Indian Residential School Program. Want to give your gift back to you. Say thank you for your bravery, your compassion, and determination, and bringing awareness to our people, but also to this province and hopefully to the federal government, that you will honor what has happened on this territory, and for the many students and our family members who endured that. So with that, thank you for all your wonderful work.
Nosy.
Hi, Bialy. So good to meet you again. It was amazing to see you out on the highway. I kept asking, like, quoting, does anybody know about this Walker? There's a Walker, somebody representing, backing us up for the Timber Bay School survivors. And I've been following, trying to help out and trying to get this, anyway I can to help out with this school. So I'm a survivor from here too, and it was hard living here, really hard. The Indian residential schools, like Ed said, is no different. I call it like Gestapo camp in Saskatchewan, because it was so hard. I brought my son here today to give you this blanket as so I don't pass on my intergenerational trauma to him directly. So he's learning from me. I'm teaching him about what I went through as a father, and he's my adopted son. He's not my biological, but my wife had cut the umbilical cord and he was given to us. And I brought him as my very own. I'd like to present this blanket to you for all residential school survivors. And I'm so proud of you. At 21 years old, walking this far, braving the weather. Like I said, on the highway, you're an amazing person. And I love you for that, for the caring that you did, that your parents did an amazing job to bring you and you're here. That's what doing this for us. Thank you so much.
So Joel, you may not know me. I'm Velma Bird, and I'm one of the survivors of Timber Bay. And my daughter, my youngest daughter, she loves to draw, and she wanted me to present you with this little drawing that she made of you. And she just wanted to thank you for what you're doing to have this place recognized as a residential school. Because if I didn't survive, then she wouldn't be here. I just wanted to present you with that and thank you for Oh, sorry.
One more.
This blanket is presented to you from neighbor's family. Her siblings went here also. Difficult to get this way, but I'm a survivor, and there's a few of us here. If we can get a picture after together. It's tough. It's very tough. Personally, I had it easy compared to others. I was able to go home, see my mom, where they couldn't. It's tough. I didn't think I'd cry, but the more that comes to mind, the people that never made it, like Bobby, it's tough. There's people from all over Cree Lake. A highlight of the residential school aspect for me, some of you might have remembered James McCullough, family from Cree Lake. Jimmy. Yeah. James. Yeah. I got to meet him in PA last weekend.
Oh, wow.
That was after 49 years. And he went here, his family went here. That was a big family. I think there was one or two that passed away from his family, but we were able to share stories.
Wow.
Yeah, because we hung around together for almost an age. So yeah, times are tough. Times are tough. To this day, it's tough. So thank you. Thank you for bringing us together today. And Nina asked me to present that to you. I couldn't. Her siblings went here, so she let to present it to you on behalf of not only her family, she says, but everybody from the Orange area and many other survivors. And even those who didn't make it. And you traveled a long way. It's been cold, so I don't think that'll fit in your backpack, but and walk-ins that you got there, so. But it'll be in your heart. Our warmth to you.
Okay, I'd like to say a few words. I know you're not done, but I'm a little rushing now. I don't like driving in the dark. But anyways, I've been tracking this boy since he left Saskatoon, and I kind of talked to him a little bit, and then I ended up meeting him in PA, and then I bought him supper. I'm not bragging, but I bought him supper. The poor little soul was so hungry. But anyways, and then I kept following him. And I was so worried that one night I couldn't even sleep. And my son said, he'll be okay, he'll be okay. What if he freezes to death or something? I said, I'm gonna feel so bad because doing this for Timber Bay people, survivors, you are so an inspiration to us. Your bravery, your dedication, your caring. I can tell you're a very caring, kind soul. I don't know what to say anymore. It's just, I don't know. I'm so honored by you and your tremendous effort to try and get us Timber Bay survivors to be recognized. I'm willing to go to Ottawa with the chiefs. We need to be heard. We have to tell our stories because right now we tell each other, but nobody's out there listening to us. I tried coming here, made a video, invited some people, I won't say the names. Nobody came here. I've been trying to do this since last July. Once I found out about those children found in BC, right? But when I heard about him, I was so happy. A non-Aboriginal coming forward to help us get recognized. And I'm so honored to have met him the other night in PA. And I had given him a little dream catcher, a headdress, like a little headdress for your vehicle. So anyway, so I gave it to him. Something made me give it to him. It was in my truck, but it wasn't hanging because my son didn't like it hanging, eh? So anyways, I gave it to him. I said, here, this is for your safety. It'll keep you secure. Sure enough, it did. And I'm so happy I gave him that little dream catcher. I mean, not dream catcher, but a headdress. Yes, so, and I told him, I said, can you hang it up on your, you can hang it up in your vehicle. And then he said, oh, I don't have a vehicle, I only have a bike. So I'm going to challenge all the chiefs, Grand Council, to help buy this boy a vehicle. Even a little $5,000 jalopy or whatever. But anyways, I'm just saying, like, it's really, I'm happy for him to be here. And I'll be the first one to come back. Thank you. God bless you, my boy.
This is something I think do the kind of work I do. I'm a residential school support worker, residential school counselor, most of all a residential school survivor. Now, I get a note this evening. When we tell our stories, people hear us. When we hear somebody's story, we have to listen. A lot of things are going to start triggering your mind of what really happened behind the doors of residential schools, not only in Saskatchewan or Timber Bay, but right across the country. When they trigger, you're going to go into instant anger or crying. To me, that's good. You're letting that anger out. Let it out. Don't keep it inside. The longer you keep it inside, the worse you'll get. And you will get, or you will need mental health. We have mental health workers in every community. Use them. We're calling them wellness workers now, because mental health to me doesn't sound right. I'm not going to go see them with Miggy Square. It just doesn't sound right. When the earth ground penetrating machine came to Larange, that afternoon, 2 people came to see me, shaking. And I said, what happened? What's happening here? I didn't know. I spent the first 3 years of my residential school life in Gordon's First Nation, in Contact. I remember Prince Albert, but I don't remember Gordon's First Nation. But when I heard about this machine and these kids that were buried behind these cemeteries, it just triggered my memory. And a lot of those triggers can hurt somebody. You can hurt somebody. What we try and do in prevention recovery in Larange, when we see that, we try and help the person walk through that journey. And that is a difficult journey, to try and control your anger. Why we are angry so much is because of what happened to us in residential schools. That anger is starting to come out to our spouses, our kids, our grandchildren. We don't need that. Intergenerational, somebody mentioned intergenerational. The young counselor. A lot of the kids now say, it doesn't bother me, I never went to residential school. It does. It goes, we're into the 3rd generation. And us older folks like me is to raise that awareness of what's happening to our people. And the younger generation can start making those changes on how to help their people live a better and healthy life. For the last 130 years, the federal government have been trying to get rid of us. They've been trying to kill us off with diseases, with medicine, with whatever they have. They tried so hard to get rid of our language, our culture, our identity of who we are as First Nations people. But you know what? After 130 years, we are still here.
Hear you, and then you're not. Is this between me and him?
Oh, nice.
This is a big start. I'm just kidding. Thank you. We have lots of things.
Bring away the biggest spoon.
Toni?
Bishop?
Maybe I'll just give him thanks. Thank you for the courage of standing with us, First Nations, your journey. I read a little bit about you, and you've been to residential schools. That's a good thing. And I know that there's hope for the survivors here.
Timber Bay. I'm a survivor of Prince Albert Residential School. When Tom was talking about triggers, I was I seen abuse when I was there, and so I said to myself, Friday, I'm leaving Friday and never coming back. And as I went home, my dad asked me, "What are you doing here?" And I sat down with him and made him understand that I didn't want to go through what my friend went through. And so when the 215 were found, I had a trigger. What if that happened to me between that time I left and when I was supposed to have gone home? If something had happened, my parents would have never known what had happened to me. And so I'm very grateful. I stayed in Naskuma, in Naskuma, was Kinigo guy. Atu Tage, Kaputi, Saskatoon, Skuguta. I'm very grateful for his walk from Saskatoon to here. And I know that this will be heard. This will be heard in the communities. The chiefs are very, very honored in your presence. We are very honored. Again, I give you thanks. Be well assured of my prayers for you as you meet the obstacles and the challenges. And I know it's going to be at the end, it's going to be a good thing for many of us. We can leave that residential school behind and move forward and begin our healing. Many of us have already. So God bless you. God be with you. Till we meet again. Thank you.
And then if we get Bishop to close us off with prayer here, and then maybe we can all line up and shake his hand on our way out, just to say thanks. And floor is yours.
I'd like to start by thanking Elder Tom for the prayer and the wonderful words, important information. And I'd like to thank everyone here for being here today. And I'm really, really heartwarmed, very, very blown away. I feel so much support. I'm very, very honored to be here in your community, on treaty territory, in Woodland Cree territory. Thank you to the leadership that is here today and walked with me, snowshoed with me. I'm very, very thankful. I didn't do this journey alone. I had a lot of support, a lot of people helping me. I'm so thankful for that, and very honored to be here. Last summer on my journey, I didn't know about Timber Bay. I spent months researching residential schools here in Saskatchewan, and Timber Bay never showed up. I never learned anything about it. It wasn't until over halfway through my journey, just through word of mouth, I heard. And when I came home, I knew I had to go back. That it wouldn't be right to not show recognition to this place and the awful things that have happened here. And so that's why I set out on my journey, and I'm blown away by the support and very, very honored. Helped me on this journey and helped to share that story, and they've been working with me for the last couple months to organize this journey, and I'm very thankful to Dwight Valentine and his family and the project they're running that allowed me to go on this journey. And if you've seen some videos, he's the voice in there. And he's from Montreal, I'm sure some of you must know him.
Okay, thanks. If you don't know Dwight Valentine, he's the son of Stuart Ballantine, the late Rima Ballantyne's, Rima Bird's grandson, great grandson. And he's one of the youth that kind of got sick of, you know, the intergenerational trauma, that he actually left the reserve and went to Bird Nest in BC. Now he's going from school to school in BC, talking about the intergenerational trauma from the student residents. And this is part of he's part of the project that he's on, Ballantine Project. So he's one of our band members. There, Tyler, thank you. Thank you. You're a very humble man. Very humble. Gusto ko watching mo.
Mati po ni Simon, nagsi po.
Oh my God.
Closing prayer.
We're going to do some closing prayer.